everyone, Will from Project BRZ here. Today I'm going to be covering 10 things that I hate about the BRZ, 10 things that I hate about this car. Now it's hard to come up with 10 things that I dislike about the car, but people keep on asking me to do a video about things that I hate, so I'm going to try and come up with 10. And I haven't rehearsed this at all. I'm just going to sort of keep talking and see what I can come up with. So the first thing that I can think of that I hate about this car is I hate that people can't see you. It's so low that four-wheel drives especially, but even just regular small SUVs and even regular street cars, they just don't seem to see you in traffic at all. Like the number of times I've only done 6,000 kilometers in this car, and my Subaru Forester I've done 40,000 kilometers in, and I can honestly say I've had somebody cut me off in this car at least 80% more times than I have in the Forester, even though I've driven the Forester so much further than I have this car. So and I don't know whether part of that is just that people think, oh, sports car, let's drive like an idiot. But yeah, I definitely find that people don't seem to see you coming, and that can be quite dangerous at times. So that's the first thing that I don't like about owning this car. Second thing is kind of along the same lines, and that's that people tend to drive like an idiot around you when they do see you. It seems like every single person on their P plates or their learner's permit or provisional license, wherever you are in the world, just wants to race all the time. Like it's hard to be at a set of traffic lights and not have somebody revving their engine at you or waving their arms at you and stuff. But the flip side to that is that it can actually, it's annoying most of the time when you just want to get to where you're going and you don't want to be hassled. But it's quite fun in this particular car because this car is so powerful, and people kind of just assume that the car is slow because it's a BRZ, and BRZs have a reputation for being slow. But when you do put your foot down, people are somewhat surprised by it. So that's that's kind of the fun aspect to it. So that's the second thing. That people just drive like an idiot around you, and it makes it hard to just get to where you want to go. Now the third thing that I don't like about this car is that it's really hard to see, and I talked about this in the very first video that I did when I drove the car home, but it's really hard to see around you in this car. The blind spots are really huge. Now you do get used to using the mirrors, but jumping out of my Forester and into this, it is it does take some getting used to, and it is quite hard to see what's going on around you. So just get in front of this guy. So that's the third thing. Yeah, it's difficult to see where you're going. Now the fourth thing is can be, and this isn't something that I hate really, but it is an annoyance, is that the car being quite low, it can be quite uncomfortable on the freeway. It's definitely not a car that I would want to be cruising around and doing long trips in. That's for certain. And yeah, I got along those lines as well. I guess the fifth thing that I don't like is the fact that I'm so paranoid about it all the time. I don't want to get stone chips. I don't want to get marks and that kind of thing. So I'm always being really careful, to the point where I kind of limit my enjoyment of the car sometimes because I'm so worried something's going to happen that I kind of just don't drive it. So I hate that aspect of owning it, the fact that I care about it so much that I don't want to see it damaged and that kind of thing. The next thing is that I think I'm up to 5 now. I think, yeah, fifth thing. The fifth thing is the police attention that it draws. Now, I just find that nearly every time I take it out for a drive somewhere near my house, especially, there's a lot of cops around where I live, and I feel like every time I take it out driving, I get hassled by the police, and they're just doing their job, and nothing against them, but it's a pain when you've modified the car sensibly, and there's nothing, everything's certified, everything's 100% legal, but they still pull you over every time, and they still want to look at the car, and they still want to check everything. And it's really annoying when you're just out for a nice drive, and especially if you've got your family or your kids in the car and you're getting pulled over every time you drive. It's really annoying. The sixth thing is the lack of space in the back, and it sounds ridiculous, but I mean, with my seat position where it is now, which is my comfortable, I'm 6 foot tall, so my seating position is pretty much fully reclined as far as the seat sliding backwards is concerned, and my seat is hard up against the back seat there. So if you're 6 foot tall and you want to have a kid in the back of the car behind you, it's not going to happen. And I feel like I probably could bring my seat forward a little bit to compensate, but it's not going to be a comfortable ride for somebody in the back. And I kind of feel like the back seats are just there so that people can sort of say to their partner, "Oh yeah, it's got back seats. It's fine. It's practical." But no, it's not. Yeah, you would not want to ride in the back of this car for any length of time unless you had no legs. Having said that, you can fit a baby seat in the back pretty comfortably, but yeah, you're not going to have anybody sitting in this front seat while there's a baby seat behind there if it's rear facing, that's for sure. And that's all right for me, because it's, any time that I got my wife and my kid in the car, I'm going to be taking my Forester anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's not exactly the most practical thing in the world. The seventh thing is that I can't get in and out of my driveway without being extremely careful. I have to take it at a very, very, very precise angle, otherwise it scrapes. And I also, because of the lowered suspension as well, when I reverse out of my driveway, one of the back wheels comes up off the ground, and then the wheels start slipping and the traction control triggers off. And sometimes it even throws an error message as well, and I have to reset the computer before I can drive off. That can be a bit of a pain in the ass, but again, that's just one of those things when you have a lowered car, and with the front lip that I've got on it as well, that reduces the clearance at the front by another sort of 5 centimeters or so. So I mean, that's my own fault. It's not really a gripe with the car, but it's an annoying thing about driving it. And again, jumping out of my Forester into this, I got to always remember that it's there, and be extra careful. The eighth thing that I hate about this car is that it seems like every second car on the road in certain places of the world, or certain places where I live anyway, seems to be one. When I bought it, I wanted to have something that was a little bit unique, and I didn't think that it would be as popular as it's become. And it's annoying that you're out and you think you're driving something kind of special, and then you see 1,000 other ones while you're out driving. Now the BRZ's less common than the GT86 where I live, but it still seems that every second car is a BRZ or an 86, and that can be kind of annoying sometimes, but that's all right. The ninth thing is that I still don't fully trust the car. Since fitting the supercharger kit, I am running a lot of boost, and it's always kind of just in the back of my mind that something might break, and it does limit my enjoyment sometimes. Like every time I've put my foot down, I'm kind of still just going, I'm always just that little bit nervous that something's going to go wrong. And I mean, that's just my own anxiety, and I've talked about that before in one of my other videos about anxiety, but it's just always in the back of my mind is that something might go bang every time I put my foot down. So, and I think that'll get better just with driving the car more and more and more. It's just got to get used to it. But yeah, it's just one of those things that I'll get used to it over time. But it is a concern for me every time I drive the car at the moment. Now, the final thing that I don't like about driving the car is that the bead on the rims sticks out past the bead of the tire. So I have to be super careful every time I'm parking the car. I did scratch one rim and had to replace it at one point, and that was the most annoying thing, because I had my wife in the car and I asked her to look out the door, and I sort of said, how much space have I got to the gutter, and she said, I got about that far. And then I started reversing back, and within a few meters I was crunching, and I was like, what happened? What happened was the gutter was on a bit of an angle, and I didn't realize. So as soon as I started to reverse back, I scratched the crap out of my wheel. So that sucked. But yeah, that's an annoyance, because again, I always have to be careful of it, and I can't just go and park it somewhere. And yeah, so that's pretty much all that I don't like about this car. And I mean, all of those things pretty much are nothing to do with the car. It's just things to do with the modifications that I've done, or or you know, just things about my own personality and owning the car with my personality. So, you know, I think if you're buying one of these cars, like, it's not, none of those things are really anything to worry about, except maybe the space and, you know, the visibility to other people on the road. But, you know, I certainly wouldn't let it put me off buying one, that's for certain. And yeah, I think it's a fantastic car, and I really enjoy owning it and really love driving it. And yeah, that's that. Also, just wanted to take a moment to say a big thank you to Mitchell and George, who both pledged on Patreon. I posted a video the other day with a way that you can help out financially if you choose to do so, just to help me create more regular and better quality videos. And Mitchell and George both chipped in. So thank you very much to you two guys for your support. So yeah, thank you very much for watching the video. Hopefully you found it interesting, and if you have, make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button if you haven't already. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.